Black men have a silent loneliness problem. Let's see what this is about. Boondocks?
In the UK right now, there are over 3.8 million people living with chronic loneliness, compared to 3 million people living with cancer.
Why are so many
shit.
black men lonely?
It's possible that you may be more likely to survive cancer than you will loneliness.
Y'all think that's true? I don't know about that one, bro. Is y'all lonely through the screen? I don't know.
In 1990, the number of men who said that they had 6 or more close friends was around about 55%. 15% of
Right.
men say that they have 0 close friends.
Bro, I think like y'all don't got no close friends, huh? Like you gotta have some friends that you could just really confide in. Even close friend don't mean you talk to them every day. It's just you can confide in them about pretty much anything.
Loneliness.
Loneliness.
I like this intro, buddy. Did his thing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Just want to say I appreciate the support on the last video. Very unexpected, but love you guys, appreciate it. A lot of interesting comments there.
From London.
So yeah, let's get straight into it, man. You've seen the title, you know what this is about. So just a quick disclaimer again. I know this video is about black male loneliness, and I'm very much aware that loneliness is something that affects all people of all genders or races or backgrounds. It's not something that specifically affects black people. But
I don't think you have to disclaimer this, bro. You're black, bro. We're black. We talk about black things, bro. White America, when they talk about white people psychologically and physiology and stuff like that, they don't say disclaimer to all the other races where this is black. You know what I'm saying? You don't got a disclaimer for talking about your people, bro, Ham.
I am a black male, so I'm going to talk about my experience
As a black male.
If that offends you for some reason, I want you to
suck your mother, bruv.
Why does that offend me? Why am I upset about that? And I'll leave that to you. Other than that, let's get to the video. Okay, so if I'm being honest, I can count my close friends on one hand, maybe even less than a hand. And I know I'm not the only one, because a lot of us black men, we hit our like mid 20s to 30s, and we realize that that brotherhood that we thought would always be there just isn't there anymore. And I was thinking recently, like, why is that? Like, why do so many of us end up isolated even though we grew up surrounded by so many different people?
Cause niggas be snakes, bro. We be finding out early on that even our families, even our closest siblings, parents, cousins be snaking, bro, and plotting on the low.
Well, this stat kind of put it into perspective for me. So in the UK, around 27% of men report to having no close friends. And as black men are disproportionately affected by mental health challenges, with around 23% of black men experiencing some form of common health problems compared to around 17% of white British men. It kind of just put things into perspective for me. Like, there's clearly something that is different with the black experience when it comes to loneliness than the white experience, for example. So today I want to kind of go it further into depth and really dig deep and understand why this is. Because I want to talk about why so many black men in the UK are kind of losing their friendships as we get older.
Right.
Because, you know, beneath the Insta reels and group chat jokes, there's real pain there. And understanding it is the first step to fixing it. So let's understand it. So I think a good place to start is like childhood, like the difference between childhood brotherhood and then that adult kind of isolation. Adult experience. So if you're a black guy, especially from the UK, you can probably relate to having experiences of like having youth clubs,
basketball, sports,
like it
the
being
gang.
a constant or very frequent thing. You'd just be out with your friends.
Especially in school, yeah, that's a big thing in school. It's like y'all have y'all little gang, y'all little clique, yeah.
Just playing all day, running around.
Man, you know what just crossed my mind too? Do y'all remember being in class with the homies and like, you know you wasn't supposed to be talking, but that one homie, you just look at them or they do something, they just make you want to laugh, bro. That's like peak life. No amount of money, nothing can like, man, I miss that shit, bro.
Playing Not Down Ginger, like playing World Cup, FA Cup, whatever it is, in the cages. Like that, for a lot of us, that was our first experience.
That was peak life,
having a brotherhood. And those relationships, although they were quite immature because we were kids, of course, they did feel quite intense and quite tight-knit. And I guess mainly because they're kind of formed out of like a shared struggle or shared culture, or just like proximity to each other. We're all in a close area. going through very similar experiences, probably got very similar backgrounds. Like, it just makes sense that we're gonna have a lot to bond on. And like friendships kind of did almost feel like family. Like your friends would know your mum, they'd know your dad, they'd know your siblings.
Yeah.
And you know, this needed brotherhood was kind of like necessary for us to survive. Because if we didn't have each other, like the system that we're in, whether that's, you know, the kind of poverty that a lot of us are in, or just like the over policing and that kind of shit, like it would have just got us really down if we didn't have people to share our experiences with. Like I literally bonded over like being stopped and searched by police when I was like a young guy with some guy I met like a couple weeks ago. And obviously that's something that's very specific to our experience. But the sad reality is that a lot of us men, as we age,
Trauma
we're not
bond.
really taught how to nurture friendships, like
Agreed.
past adolescence, like past the kind of like trivial kind of just conversations.
We're not taught how to like show up for somebody. We're not taught how to like talk through problems. We're not taught how to speak up for what we need in friendships. We're taught that that's some soft shit, or like we're taught a fake version of masculinity where anything that isn't extremely aggressive, anything that isn't extremely cold, calculated, and distant, it's not to be shared with another, let alone another black man who's the hardest person to be seen as a man to the world. You know what I'm saying? We're not taught. I agree 100%. We're not taught how to nurture each other and really show up for each other in the way we really need.
Trivial connections. And I think due to this, a lot of us
Shallowness, that's what it is. Male friendships are very shallow. That's what I've noticed for sure.
don't know how to maintain or build relationships as we age. For example, with this UK study, I think it's called The Campaign to End Loneliness, it found that men aged 30 plus are among the loneliest demographic in the UK, especially those that come from a working class or ethnic minority background, which
This
makes
is a
lot of
really good
sense.
video, y'all.
'Cause I think the main difference between these like kind of boyish relationships and relationships that you want to have with men as you grow up is that as a young guy, relationships feel effortless. It's like, it doesn't feel like I'm making any effort to talk to you. It doesn't take much effort to like invite you to, you know, come outside or to jump on the game or to do X or Y. As soon as there's that barrier of like inconvenience, it's just like the
Niggas
friendship
just
just goes out
stop.
the window.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is that it's no longer seen as a necessity.
Bro, I noticed that in college. I was in college. I dropped out because I started editing and running my own channel full time. And nigga, I would call some of my friends that I felt like was my brothers in college. You know what I'm saying? I dropped out and I would call them sometimes to talk or like, yo, hop on the game or something like that. And I just noticed like a distance or like a disregard for me because I wasn't or in the vicinity no more. I said, fuck, shit, nigga, like, I don't know, bro. That shit just really like, and it hurt my feelings. But as being a man, I didn't want to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh, that's soft. Or like, that's needy. And like, he's just one of the guys. We're taught like as guys, you can just see somebody for not a year and then y'all be cool, which is cool. And that means y'all have a solid relationship. But still, like, damn, nigga, we can't check in on each other. We can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you niggas don't be caring about what you got going on at all until y'all talk a year from now. I don't know. I agree, though. This is a good video,
To
man.
have like friends is no longer seen as like something that is needed.
'Cause you
It's more
see
like
them
a
every
luxury,
day.
which I think is again something that's been like inserted and brainwashed into us to believe that human connection is just like something that's nice to have rather than a
Yeah, what
necessity.
the fuck?
Which again kind of leads back to
Like talking to people consistently. Niggas like, I'm so insular. I be in my own world. I'm like, I just don't be talking to people. I just don't be like having communications and responding to people in a timely manner is like a luxury. That's not like something that every human wants, needs, and deserves. The fuck?
the capitalist nature that we're, you know, capitalist nature of society that we're in.
The
We're gonna talk
algorithm
about
of
that.
nature.
We'll talk about that later, maybe.
Oh my god.
This
can we
nigga
talk
is
about,
lit,
like, the
bro.
political and economic state of the world right now.
Okay, so let's talk about the stigma around emotional vulnerability, especially for
Yeah.
black men.
Talk to me,
I
boy.
think there is a major
I gotta like and subscribe. He's
difference
cooking.
between, you know, our experience when it comes to emotional vulnerability and that of our white or other ethnicity
Right.
counterparts, I'd say. Let's be honest, like a lot of our childhood, we're kind of brainwashed with this like man up kind of culture, or this like
If you're not smoking with each other, if you're not playing sports or somehow running up a business or talking about girls, then it's like there's nothing to talk about with these niggas, man.
disciplined culture, or this like just tough love kind of culture. Like I have like a Nigerian background, and like on a personal level, if we can get personal here, this is my channel, so I can get personal. Like I didn't have a like very loving relationship with my dad. Like I don't think he ever told me he loved me. I think the nearest thing he
Damn, bro.
had to
Shit.
saying that was like, oh, like I do this because
I love you.
it's right for you, or I do that because, you know, you need discipline, X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
That's the type
man.
of love that we're
Like, it's
showing.
so
And that
robotic
teaches us
and
that,
robust.
like, as a man, you have
You
to be
don't-
tough in this.
You can't connect with another man heart to heart. Bro, I just recently, no gay shit. See, it's the fact I even got to say no gay shit. I just recently started having more heart to heart conversations, not just with the woman in my life, but like the men in my life as well. And like, you know what I'm saying? Letting niggas know I'm not strong in this area, or like this shit hurt me, or like boom, boom, boom. Now how they react is how they react. Full fall game in a full effect, like Kevin Gates say, if they say the wrong thing, or no fallback game. But yeah, I agree so
And that's
much, bro.
something that,
Oh my god.
you know, there's some truth to it, but it's something that kind of hardens your heart to
Yes.
relationships.
You're
Because
closed
in
off.
this like traditional man up culture, emotional depth and
You
vulnerability
close yourself
is
to
taboo.
life.
Like it's a no-go area.
And it's mainly in the I ain't gonna say the black community, but we were conditioned to be like that due to society, slave masters, racism, and now we carry that on ourselves. But it's not our faults we're like that. It's definitely a conditioning, right? But yeah, bro, I noticed in mainly in our race, like you guys know Tariq, whether it's off him, the light-skinned dude off him, the football movie, like I noticed he's like emotionally available. He doesn't try to fit a certain role of masculinity. He fake twerk sometimes, or he'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like he's comfortable in his sexuality and masculinity, and we're not. Which is why they normally say stuff like that is light skin activities or that's biracial activities. Because as a black person, it's like we're not given that same privilege of, you know, being able to maintain your sexuality and who you are as a man and respect, while also not always doing what's traditionally masculine, unless you're like Michael Jackson or Prince, you know,
Like,
or
do
Playboy
not
Cardi or
express your
Lil Uzi.
feelings. Do not tell people how you're actually doing. Just keep the facade up and like keep everyone at a safe distance. But
Yeah.
this leads to a lot of us men believing that vulnerability equals
Weakness. Yeah.
But
It can, in a world that's conditioned like that. I'm not even gonna act like that's not a reality, because in a world like that, and there's people who've been conditioned like that themselves, and they've been conditioned to also look down on men who are vulnerable. It does create a society where expressing yourself to certain people does equal weakness, and your words being twisted and used against you, or people being turned off from you. It does, you know. But I guess that's why you got to find people who don't see that as weakness, but actually see that as for what it is, which is a strength in your innate expression as a human.
In reality, foundation.
This
of
is too
any
deep for y'all,
strong
nigga. This video's too deep for
relationship,
y'all, bro.
Whether that's a romantic one, or especially like a friend, like a platonic friendship kind of relationship, is based on vulnerability.
Yeah.
You have to be vulnerable with your friends.
How is it
build that
real?
Connection. You're never going to be able to get past the surface level if you're never able to, you know, give yourself the.
I just
ability
said
to be
that
vulnerable.
every
And the truth is, like, a
relationship
lot
be
of Black
shallow.
British households, we're like entrenched in this idea of like building strong men, building.
That nigga looks like he beats up on her, bro. This looks like, you know, I said back in the days, the woman was the dishwasher and the man used to punch her in her shit. He looks like he busted a couple women, including her, in their shit before. But anyways,
Tough men, building men that are ready to, you know, do
Look at
twice
him.
as much to get half as much reward.
especially being black,
as
bro.
the
Civil
saying goes. I'm
rights.
sure a lot of you.
You got to look at it too, bro. Even in the civil rights era and pre and just around that time in America, a vulnerable black person sometimes equaled a dead black person. Just a black person in their presence in general equaled possible death. So whenever you get conditions like that for so long, it's like, what do you expect black men to teach black boys? You expect to teach them to be like, yeah, cry, be vulnerable, tell people how you feel and all this stuff, and stuff like that has led to us dying. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense why we're so closed off. We've been conditioned and programmed this due to some things out of our control, you know, which is why it hurts that much more, because it's not like it's our personal problem that we did to ourselves. No, we had to become like this for a means of survival.
Heard that growing up, but this makes emotional expression very rare, and a lot of time it is just anger that you see.
Yes.
It's a lot of frustration that comes out.
That's the only time you're seen and not seen as less than, is whatever you throw that emotion out into aggression. That's why people respect King Von so much, or but you know, killers are seen as like our knights in shining armor to certain black people, because they're able to, or Young Boy. That's why much of the youth likes Young Boy, because he's one of the first rappers to like fully express emotions without coming across as soft or gay or whatever else. He expresses his emotions in songs, and one of his mediums that he uses it is through his violent, his violentness, his streetness, his ooh, you know what I'm saying? And that's why so many YNs, quote unquote, resonate with Young Boy.
And this is why so many men like to keep their like friendships very like surface level, very like
bitches, hoes,
very like
nigga,
casual.
hoes, bitches. Yeah, that's
because
all.
we've learned that our emotional needs don't need to be
matter.
met by other men in our lives. It has to be met by our partners, whether that's a sexual partner or like a romantic partner. That's why a lot of guys end up like having all of their emotional eggs in the basket of their life.
But it takes a village. You should be able to, bro. It's just we've had such shitty examples and such shitty conditions that, like, we've gotten used to a TV dinner and we call a TV dinner a 5-star meal. You should be able to confide in your mom without her feeling like seeing you as weaker or going against you. You should be able to confide into your dad. You should be able to confide in your siblings. You should be able to confide in your friends, your partner. Like, it shouldn't just be one person that you should do everything else for. What's the phrase? It takes a village. You should be able to confide in the people that love and care about you around you, and they should be able to give you the things that you need and vice versa. But, the reality is a lot of people have never had even a solid person they could go to,
Like romantic relationship. But this just becomes like a toxic cycle where like friendships can't really survive, because if you're not able to actually be able to have the courage to be seen by your friends, for them to actually know who you are, not just like the facade and mask you're putting on, they're never going to be able to actually like
get to know you. They don't know
have
you.
a real relationship with you.
They don't know you. If you only talk to me surface level, how do you know who I really am? How do you know what I actually like, what I really don't like? How do you know, like, you don't know what I'm feeling like? Think about how many people are quote unquote friends that never got to even truly know who they are. I've noticed a lot of people linger around me because, you know what I'm saying, I could potentially be a big YouTuber one day or something like that, or woo, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's so shallow, and it's because the stigma around men and emotions has been so blurred and cooked.
But you're not allowing them in, you're not letting them see who you really are. And that's why a lot of men in their like friendships, neither of them feel safe enough to open up. So they just keep things just light and easy. Just talk about girls, just talk about sports, just talk about football.
Yeah, it sucks.
Just talk about trainers, just talk about like basic shit. Because anything like deeper than that, it's like a no-go zone. It's scary. Like you don't know what kind of things you're gonna open up. You don't know what kind of, you don't want them changing their perception of you. You don't want them thinking that you're not a tough guy, but you don't want them thinking that you're
weak,
a pushover or excellent.
The worst thing you could be seen as a man is corny or weak. That's the worst thing.
Why? Because you're going through real life human stuff, which is just a crazy mindfuck for me. But hey, and statistically, it's shown that black men are far less likely to seek therapy, and like as we know, emotional isolation contributes highly to rates of things like depression and unaliving yourself. Because the thing is, like, we'll like dap each other up, we'll crack jokes for hours, but we'll never actually ask the other man like how they're actually doing. Like, not just like, oh yeah, like, what you saying, you right?
Yeah,
like, how you actually doing? Like,
yo, I know you. And it's like, see, that's the type of friend I am too. And I'm realizing how not everybody deserves to be in your presence if they're not going to meet you to where you're at. We all like to dumb ourselves down and drop to other people. We got to start finding people who meet you where you at. Because Pete, man, I'm the type of nigga, I see something that's going on with you. You just went through a breakup, boom, boom, boom. Yo, I'm the type of nigga where I'll talk to you and I'll genuinely ask you, how do you feel? Like, not on no weak shit. Like, just let me know how you feel. But also, I'm not just going to coddle you and baby you, and I'm going to let you know what, like, yo, tighten up though too. Like, right here is where you can change, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a really good friend. I don't know why his point, it's just him saying that. It made me realize how much I have been doing the right thing. But if you're doing the right thing for the wrong people, it'll never be right. But whenever it's the right people, you can't do no wrong because there's no playbook. And I just realized I've been around so many wrong people that it's not that I've been wrong. It's just those were the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how you could equivalent that to your own experiences and relationships, but understand people got to meet you where you at. Stop lowering your, not standards, but like stop lowering who you are and dimming your light to make somebody else feel better about them not being able to shine. You feel me?
Are you actually okay? I haven't heard from you in a while. Like, how are you actually getting on? that question is very, very rare when it comes to like relationships with your black friends. There's a lot of time it's just like, oh, what are you saying? Like, you cool? What are you saying? Oh, like, you see the game last week? Yeah, like, it's just banter shit. And of course, there's a time and space for that, but that can't just be the only way you talk to
like,
your friends.
what's the
That
point
can't
of
just be
having
the only
friends?
way.
What
And
the hell?
truth is, something I had to really acknowledge in myself is like, if you were to actually ask a friend how they were doing and they actually did open up to you,
How would you feel?
like,
What would you do?
would you actually know what to say?
Yeah, I would.
Would you even know how to hold space?
Yeah.
Would you even know how to like let them know that you're there for them?
I'm
And I think that's
raw.
something that
Facts.
we don't always
I
acknowledge
can.
in ourselves, that maybe if we do want these,
You got to give
more-
them the space. It's like whenever I agree though too. It's like whenever parents go, "Why don't you talk to me? You could be honest to me. Why do you lie to me? Or why do you feel like you want to be so grown?" But it's like, are you giving your child the space to want to feel like a kid and still feel heard, even if they are acting it as if they're a kid? Are you giving your kid the space to open up and be honest with you, where they don't feel like you'll go and tell their business to somebody else or shame them for how they feel or what they did? It's stuff like that. I agree. Are you giving people the space to come to you in a manner that makes them comfortable enough to actually be honest and open with you, so you get a chance to really know them? Bro, this video is hard, bro.
like
This
vulnerable
is
relationships with our
this
friends,
it's like
do
a
we
new
actually know
favorite
how
song.
to
Yo, this
even
is
foster
hard.
them. Okay, so let's talk about like romantic relationships.
This
and
nigga's hard.
The way that our priorities shift later in life. So in adulthood, as we know, like romantic relationships often end up replacing, our friendships. Like, we all know about the guy that, has a girlfriend and suddenly like we never hear from him. Like, he's got a girlfriend and suddenly the only time we speak to him is like when they're having an argument or when he needs some advice because, she's acting up or something. You don't want to be that guy.
Don't be
And
that guy.
I had to look at myself and be like, yeah. At points, I've been that guy. Like, I've been.
But I also will say though too, as you get older and more into wanting to start a family, wanting to build more intimate, personal relationships, it is natural for you to start to shift away from, your friends, the gang, the crowd, and more into your immediate family and your immediate, you know what I'm saying, type stuff.
In a 10-year relationship. So literally throughout basically all of my 20s, I've been in a relationship. And I've noticed like I've constantly kind of lost more and more friends as I've like got further into the relationship. And of course I know it's because I'm like putting a lot of energy into this relationship because it means a lot to me. But I'll be honest, there's been time where I've like definitely prioritized like this relationship over all of my other relationships, and that's why a lot of them haven't survived.
True that.
Just being able to have that self-awareness and be like, okay, I am actually making choices here. This isn't just something that's happening to me. Because the cultural expectation is that like,
I think for me, what made me stop wanting to pour into so many like relationships is I remember just when I left college, that was a huge shocker to me. Just people I felt like I was really close with and I built connections with. I just noticed it was me calling other people. And I know people say stop watering plants and see how quickly nobody else will water them either. I think that's a stupid mindset. Sometimes you got to reach out first and, But I don't know, bro. I just was calling people and like I just noticed I wasn't really getting too many calls from people. So I was like, why am I the only person trying to keep this relationship alive and nobody else is? Like, it's not to say when I call they won't pick up. They're still friends. If I call them, I know they'll pick up. But it's like you're not making an effort to consistently talk to me unless it's like for something or like it's a situation or birthday or event, you know what I'm saying? Which is cool, but that's not a relationship I'm too heavily invested into at this point because I'm looking for people who like actually, make an effort to consistently add me into their lives,
men have to settle down. So this idea that like your romantic partner becomes your main focus,
everything,
and that's the person that you've like now decided to give all your attention to.
Nah.
And all your other relationships and friendships, they're just secondary, they're just whatever.
Yeah.
And that mindset in itself is quite toxic because what it does, it puts a lot of pressure onto your romantic relationships. It puts a lot of pressure onto your partner, and it's kind of unfair. Like, if you don't have outlet for some conversations that you don't need to have with your partner.
What if it's something, what if it's on some guy shit? Oh yeah, facts. But also, what if it's on some, you have a problem with your partner. You can't confine in them all the way because they may not fully get it because it's something they're involved in. So they're going to have a less rounder perspective about it potentially. You know what I'm saying? So I agree.
You can end up like putting a lot of pressure onto them to be everything for you. And I don't think that's realistic. I think it is very, very okay and natural to like not burden your romantic
Like you go
partner
hang out with your
all
friends
of your
sometimes.
worries,
Yeah.
all of your stresses, all of your thoughts.
Facts.
And having like friends that you trust and do have that connection with is very important. And the difference between men and women in these situations where, you know, you're in a long-term relationship is that women are socialized to still maintain their friendships even after marriage, for example. And the truth is, men just aren't. We're just not. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty of becoming that guy that, like, as soon as I was serious in my relationship, I kind of disappeared, like I was in witness protection. Like, the guys were not hearing from me for a bit, I can't lie. Like, and like suddenly I just realized the only time I was kind of interacting with people was when they were like commenting on my anniversary post or like commenting on my birthday post or like things like that. I was like thinking, yeah, this is something
He's one of
that is
those
happening to
niggas.
me. Like, it can happen to me as well. And I think that's a lot of the inspiration for making this video. Because of course, like, prioritizing your partner is absolutely fine. I think that's perfectly healthy to do, but not at the expense of like basically disregarding and discarding all your other relationships.
Like they're human. I agree, because it's like they're humans too. They got feelings and like, yeah, man, I agree.
Especially with
This
other
is a good video,
black
y'all.
men. It's very important for us to have these, you know, these communities and these spaces where we can actually confide in each other and share our thoughts and our struggles. And I think failure to do so is what creates a lot of this isolation that we're going to talk about later in this video.
So Pete, I'm gonna end it right here, and we'll do a part 2 eventually because it's already 30 minutes, bro. This is a really good video, bro. I really like the Pierce perspective. This is a cool dude, man. I'm really liking the work, y'all. I'm really liking the work.